Gen Z is like aging really rapidly?
It is mainly because of the stress. Come here. We live in a time nowadays where millennials look way younger for their age, while Gen Z looks way older for their age. If you don't believe me, I'm Gen Z. Get closer. I am Gen Z and nobody ever believes me. When my mom and I walk out in public, people think that my mom is my younger sister. Right? When I tell people, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my family, they think I'm talking about my children. I don't have kids. Right? I'm talking about my parents. I'm still the child. Does that make sense? I'll put it to you like this. Zendaya is older than me. Tom Holland is older than me. That's, you know what I'm saying right now? There was one time I wanted an autograph from Dwayne The Rock Johnson, right? I was standing for hours for this autograph, and when he walked up to me, I said, can you please sign this poster? It's for Jordan, right? He then took it
Apparently, Gen Z is like
and put, Dear Jordan, your dad is a great guy. He stood out here for hours and then gave it back to me. And before I can correct him, he looked at me and said, times were way more difficult back when we were kids, am I right? And he tapped my shoulder and left. Dwayne is 52. I am 26. What I'm saying is, so Gen Z definitely looks older. I'm not gonna lie to you. And put.
And there goes to the Ray Rock Johnson said, dude, he said, dude, I am belly laughing right now, and I gave you the old rock tap on the shoulder. So I guess the right definitely remembers that guy from the viral video from TikTok. I do have an article from the New York Post saying Generation Z is aging worse than millennials in an alarming way. It says one of the reasons is stress. It says young generation are using injections, fillers, and vapes as among the making of Generation Z looks older. It says it may seem like Generation Zs are taking good care of themselves. Particularly it's not for sure. In fact, they're starting injectables too young. Injectables too young can affect the natural development of facial features. It says that let's see, let me wrote down. Yeah, it said one reason it causes a lot of stress. It said Generation Z has grown up with screens, social media, meaning insights, educations on cosmetic procedures, trends, and suitable skin care that are available at the tap of their finger. Although this may not always be beneficial, this does mean that they have grown up with more of awareness and knowledge of offerings as many. It's not nothing else. So, yeah, so basically it's just saying like more Generation Zs are smoking more by using vapes more and using a lot of injectors, fillers, and going to the more cosmetic surgery and everything. So yeah, man, that was the article from the New York Post. And yeah, man, this is to me this is surprising. You know, I never thought a younger generation would look older than our generation and up and everything. So this is something, man. This is something. And that man that was talking right now, he was painfully talking about how he looks older and how Dwayne Rock Johnson tapped on his shoulder. So yeah, man. So I'm gonna pass it to you guys. I'm starting with you, Ronnie. That's deep. Like I said, what's your take on the younger generation looks older than the older generation?
Yeah, I agree with that article saying that part of the reason why Gen Z is pretty much looking older because the simple fact is stress. A lot of these kids are taught, especially now in a very young age, you need to go out there, go chase the bag, work like 80 to 100 hours a week. So you got to make yourself a quote unquote high value man. So that's one thing because a lot of these people keep forgetting a lot of these young.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I froze.
All right. Ronnie stepped out. He'll pop back in. You want to go, Hakeem, or should I go? What do you want to do? Check.
Can you hear
Oh,
me?
it's not check. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I don't know
It's good.
what was going on. Sorry about that. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought, but no, I still kind of remember a little bit what I was saying. So part of that is that they're taught from a very young age. You got to go out there, go chase the bag, do what you got to do. You got to be highly, quote unquote, successful. So a lot of these kids are listening to a lot of these YouTube content creators. So they thinking, okay, I got to go check the bag. However, the thing is, some of these kids are staying up late night. I remember growing up, my mom and dad always told me don't stay up late night because it's gonna make you turn older. At first, I was like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. But then when I started seeing articles and seeing videos of kids are staying up past their bedtime, not getting enough rest, it's gonna make you look older. And remember our generation, Jordan, our generation, you, Hakeem, and us, our generation, we taught differently than what they're being taught. They taught is them going out there and being like grown adults at a very young age. So when they go out there, now they doing stuff what we supposed to be doing, and putting themselves to a highly different level, stress level, and I think that's what's causing it. And it's crazy because seeing that video, I didn't even see a video like that. This is my actually first time seeing a video about that. It it kind of matched with the statistics on what they're saying about these young kids being highly stressful. Go ahead, King.
I think Hakeem stepped out, but I'll go. I'll go. Hakeem come back. I think one of the reasons why Generation Z looks so looks old right now. Look at all these. Look at these prices, yo. Prices is crazy out here, yo. I remember back when I was 19, 18, 20. I was, my first job working at Myers back in the Michigan area, making $7.40, $7.40. That was the minimum wage and everything. Back then, gas was cheaper, food was cheap, rent was cheap. When I started moving to Miami a little bit at the golden era, I would say, when I started working at Whole Foods, that was $10 an hour. I had a good apartment, paid. I was paying the rent like $700 on rent and everything. Had a car at the time. I mean, everything was super cheap, man. Like I said, and the thing is, at the time, making 20,000, 20,000 a year or 30,000 a year. That was cool. You could get by that. Now here, 2023, 2024, oh, I'm gonna add this too. And back then too, like I said, you can make 20,000, 20,000 a year or 30,000 years and live by yourself. A studio, even a one bedroom. Now, here in 2023, 2020, not going to 2024, you can't do that no more. Now you need two people to sustain a one bedroom apartment. Rent is out of control. Rent, if you try to get a nice apartment here in LA or something like that, 20, like I said, 20, that's 2,500 at the minimum. A good luxury, that's 2,500 at the minimum. Miami might be that, a little bit more. New York City, shoot, that's about 3,000. No, might probably more than that. $4,000, 4,000 a month, just about a decent apartment in New York and everything. Yeah, man, everything is super duper high. I know a lot of these Generation Z's, they really stay in with their parents and everything, or they try to do roommate because if you don't make at least 700, I mean 70 or $80,000 a year just to have like an apartment or maybe a studio apartment or have a decent car, you're not gonna make it like that. So, like I said, I do feel really bad about the Generation Zs, and also I want to say the pandemic as well. The pandemic, that was a big thing happening around the world, especially Generation Z, because they had to stay home. They had to go. They had to do schools, do Zoom and everything. So they really kind of cut, kind of joy about their lives too and everything. And you can say the elections and everything, who's our president and everything, how the countries is it's just a lot right now for the Generation Z to overcome. And I know us as generation, like I said, we was okay, we was paying good, the country was doing okay and everything, even though we was at the war in Iraq, war in Afghanistan, we was still good and everything. But it's just a whole lot going through with our Generation Z. They going through a whole lot. This is something that we had never seen before, and and with Generation Z's and everything, we some of these people that say, hey, you know, back then we could do it and everything, you should do it too. But the thing is, everything was so cheap back then. Generation Z, they have to really push their weight and work as hard as they can just in order to this order to sustain to get a car or a studio apartment or it's just hard right now, man. It's really hard. And yeah, man, it's just sad to see our children be going through like this and everything because um, this is like the most expensive place in our time that we're going through right now. And the Generation Z's, you know, and like I said, the types of business that said 27 and under, 12 to 27. I'm just interested in how they gonna do this. How they gonna do this because you know everything's like I said, everything's going up year by year by year, and it's not looking go. It's not looking good. It's not looking great that it's gonna go down. So yeah, man, Generation Z's they're in a terrible time right now where they at.
Yeah, because now they live in a social media age. That's the problem, the age of technology. So everything they do, anything they want to become is all consumed and pretty much on the internet. Right now, people think, okay, now a lot of these Gen Zs think, okay, now I can do OnlyFans, make money. Now I gotta do go on TikTok, make money, YouTube or Twitter, whatever you name it, any form of social media outlet, any way for me to find to make money. So they going around copying and mimicking a lot of these podcasters, a lot of these people that already have like big name platform, but they understand how it
Mm-hmm.
takes work and the type of stress level you go through just to maintain those type of audience. So that's the thing. And you made up a good point on the pandemic plays a huge part because the pandemic taught a lot of these young cats to stay at home, um, not to really go outside, and people keep forgetting by you not going outside actually do damaging to your health because your body needs some form of sunlight instead of always being inside the house. So that's why another that played another great part in that aspect as well. Joe, no heard of what's going on, asking what's popping like it, what's cracking like it. I came, I don't know you back yet.
Yeah, I'm back
So
here. Sorry for that. I had an emergency call.
go ahead.
Yeah, shout out Ashton. Shout outs Ashton. Shout out Jonah Hurdum. So we still on the Gen Z and the aging thing, gang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um a lot of people not gonna when I say this, I want to say this and I want people to listen to this. Culture shift between time periods. The culture of from the 90s to the early 2000s is different from the middle and the late 2000s. We had the same stressors as these guys here. I think even worse. This generation has more access to technology and more money. We had to figure things out. I do think that um I do think that I do think that Gen Z are victims to their own vices compared to us. Like we still go outside. And that's why I think that we've learned to live with a little bit, but this generation have more and they still stressed out because they forget the pivotal point. It's not about money. It's not about cars. It's not about effing bad bees. It's not about six figures. It's about people. And since, you know what I mean, me being 40, I love the fact that I could still talk to my friends and we still do things that's fun. I still be able to go to birthday parties. A lot of these guys don't even do that. Some of these guys don't even have friends. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're the generations we still have friends, so we don't have them kind of stresses these guys. A lot of these guys are still in the house. You feel me? I could tell you personally, Roni has dragged me out the house more than a little bit from being a hermit crab because he still is a millennial. You feel me? Them boys still go outside. These guys ain't going outside. These guys don't even date the way we used to date. We still go on dates. These guys going to the crib. So, you know what I mean? I think that Gen Z is a different culture from millennials. Millennials, we still got remnants of the old days, the 80s, the 70s, and the 60s. Our logic is still there. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. No, that's true. You make up a great factor, especially when it comes to the aspect of the dating game. A lot of
Yeah,
these Gen Zs not even going on dates.
Mm-mm.
They don't know.
Mm-mm.
They don't even know how to connect to their other counterparts because the simple fact is they've been taught the wrong information because they always consuming information from the internet and they think that's how life goes, and it's like no, life doesn't go like that. And I'm there right now. China, uh, I was watching on a news one time. They say China right now they're having a huge issue where a lot of these young generation, a lot of generation over there don't even want to go to work.
Yep. And they're not having kids. They call it a slow.
Yeah,
You know, this is the first time in history, all around the world, in the United States, where you probably don't think it. We could look at social media, but we're not having kids like that anymore.
yeah. The having kids on the decline. Yeah,
It's having kids on the decline. This is a Gen Z thing. I also wanted to point out too. Don't you always notice people from our generation are getting married now more than Gen Z? You don't notice that?
Yeah.
Old high school buddies. I just
yeah,
found out a couple of my high school friends are getting married. They're in their 40s. I would expect a 25 Gen Z year old would be nurturing that. But we still, even though we didn't get married, we still had that basis of it. And to get into that, that's why I say not only that, Gen Z can't even buy a house now. We bought houses coming from our era. Gen Z don't Gen Z's not gonna work 30 years like we did coming from where we at. Me, you, and Ron, we've been at the same employment for the longest. Gen Z don't do that. They skip jobs every 2 years. So there's so many different things where it's stressors that come about.